r/AskReddit, what is your best I definitely did not deserve that grade story from school? Did not happen to me, but my grammatically challenged roommate at the time. We were instructed to write a how-to paper for sophomore English class. We had to pick our topics during class and tell the teacher. Someone sitting close to us came up with the topic of how to write an A paper. So naturally, my friend goes with how to write an F paper. His intentions were to write it as best as he could and receive an A. He wrote it so poorly and with multiple spelling and grammatical errors that the teacher loved the satirical vibe he demonstrated in his paper and promptly gave him an A. In first year university, I wrote a paper in a sociology class where I mixed up the word mores, a type of social norm, and more, a type of eel, and as such wrote about the impact of eels on law. For some reason, the tar thought my eel law paper wasn't too horrible and gave me a B. She told the entire class someone wrote about social eels and that we needed to be more careful with our spelling, though. I had a college professor where I just didn't turn in my final and he gave me an A for the class anyways. Not sure why. I gave him some duck jerky earlier in the year, so maybe he really liked it. In my college dynamics course we had a group project that we assigned different sections to do within our group. It was an incredibly difficult project, so we couldn't just completely split off and do it on our own, but there were easier sections that could be done by one person. Anyways, in a group of 3, one of our guys just never showed up to any of our meetings. We are not idiots and we get that we are busy and all that, so we just give him the easier stuff to do when he can get around to it. So my friend and I pull all-nighters until we finally complete it a few days before it was due. We send what we have to the third guy and he assures us that he'll get the rest done. We check up on him the day before asking if he wants help and he says that he's got it and he'll bring the completed project into class. Of course he walks in and says, sorry guys, I never got around to it. We were basically missing the easiest 1/3 of our project because he couldn't tell us he needed help. I explained the situation to the teacher, but he had no sympathy. He said, in the real world you live and I buy the people by your side, and graded us for what we completed, so surprise, we failed. I didn't talk to that kid for the rest of the semester, even though he sat right next to me. Left one high school shortly after semester break. All teachers gave me an A because they didn't have anything to go on. Went to another state and they were so far into the semester all teachers decided they couldn't hold me responsible for what they already taught, so they all gave me whatever grade I came in with. Only time in my life I got all A's. Edit. Sure wasn't expecting this answer to blow up like this. Now my top rated comment in 3 years, so not only did I get all A's, but I got a Reddit A+. Turned in the same essay twice, got 2 different grades. In year 9, US grade 8, history, we were given a small assignment as homework over the weekend. I can't remember what the assignment was on, probably the tutor's tutors or something, but it had to be around 500 words and summarize what we'd been doing for the past few weeks. Nothing too hard. I completed the homework to what I considered a reasonable standard and handed it in. However, when I received the grade, I was awarded a D, with the teacher's primary criticism being that I hadn't written enough material. I was confused by this, since I'd written around 500 words like he'd asked. He told me to go away and redo it better. After getting home, I had some time to compare my work with my friends. I'd written the essay in size 11 font times New Roman, and I had neglected to include any images. This is pretty standard for higher grade academic work, but most of my peers had used size 14. Some even used Comic Sans. So what did I do? I scaled up the text, increased the spacing, and slapped a couple of generic pictures of Henry VIII's face on there, and handed it in the next morning. Lo and behold, after he graded it, I got an A and a special mention for my hard work. I have never been so thrilled with myself and so disappointed in a teacher in my life. It just goes to show how another person's laziness can screw you over. Edit. Spelling. My senior year of high school I was taking Spanish 12, or the senior level course. I had been taking yearly Spanish courses since 7th grade at this point, so you would think I would be bueno by now. But no, I was not bueno. For our final presentation we had to discuss any topic we wanted for a full 15 minutes. Obviously all in Spanish. I knew I would struggle, but I tried all year to actually improve. I did not. Anyway, I did my presentation on the Oregon Trail computer game. Remember that crap? It was awesome. I played through and grabbed screenshots of different stages. I named my players after my friends in the class. I went the full noof, you could say. One flaw. I didn't have the vocabulary for a 15-minute speech on my game. So I tried to cheat. Each slide was well done, but what I said was the exact same with small changes. Me familiar s. Then a verb. I even wrote note cards and hid them in my crotch while I sat and pretended they were hidden. I'd read off them because remembering like 8 verbs was beyond me. Mucho trabajo. I ended up with a grade that would allow me to pass and leave language courses the rest of the year. My teacher knew I was an idiot and gave me a slide, I'm convinced. So I thought I could do the same next semester and I signed up for Spanish 13. Easy college credit, I thought. I walked in, same teacher. She took one look at me and wrote me a pass to my counselor. You aren't taking this, Butterlack. Go find a business course or something. So I did. Now I have a marketing degree I don't use. Life is crazy, man. I had a bit of a weird teacher in geography way back when I was in the 9th grade. He was always correcting our assignments way too long after we handed them in. One time we had 2 assignments that should handed in over the course of 2 weeks. I only did one of them as I didn't really feel like doing the other one for some reason. When we got back the assignments back like a month later or something, he didn't actually give back the assignments. He just told us our grades from a piece of paper he was reading from. When he got to my desk he gave me a B for the first one and an A for the one I didn't hand in. I don't think I deserve that. English 101. I forgot that an essay was due that following afternoon, but had to work and study for a more important chemistry course. Downloaded the smallest PEG file I could find, converted it into a PDF and submitted the essay in hopes the professor would ask to send it again, and it would give me a buffer time of 24 to 48 hours. Check the grade module and got full points. No questions asked. The qualifications to access university in Scotland are what are known as hires. I took higher English, but I'm kinda crap at English, but good enough to pass the exam. When our prelim, a sort of test exam, rolled around in February, I failed it by like 2% and the teacher decided that I wasn't good enough to sit the higher exam. She'd keep me in the class, but when the exams rolled around, I'd sit the lower tier intermediate 2 exam, which would give me a lower tier qualification, which is useless for just about anything. I sat this exam and ended up getting an A, a useless hecking A, which would be no help in getting me into university, effectively wasting my whole year in that class. This was 13 years ago now, and I'm still annoyed. Took biology and economics my freshman year of college and made the mistake of doing both classes in the morning. I work swing/graveyard shift. The biology class was graded solely on 3 exams. The dates for them were in the syllabus, along with a summary of chapters covered in each. I only showed up on the first day and 3 exam days, crammed the night before each time, and did really well on the tests. Got an A. Economics was harder. Participation and attendance counted toward the grade, and a test date was moved, so I missed taking it. Fortunately I had a buddy in the class who signed my name on the attendance sheet that day and was therefore able to convince my professor that he must have lost my exam. He let me retake it, and I eked out a B. Edit. For all those commenting on how their universities check student IDs, have digital exams, or comprehensive honor codes, I should clarify that this was a community college in a small town, and this happened almost 20 years ago. The school didn't issue student IDs, they made a photocopy of your driver's license when you first showed up to enroll. You never saw a computer in a classroom unless you were taking a class about computers, and most of the professors gave out their landline, office phone number on the syllabus instead of their email, as they didn't all have /use email. If there was an honor code, I don't think it wasn't taken particularly seriously. One of the professors once told us that the school's funding was based on attendance, which is why no one ever cared if we were late to class, as long as we signed the attendance sheets. College has apparently changed somewhat.